What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red. It's Clash.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Reddit Talks Clash. If this is your first time here, we are the mods of the subreddit, and we do a podcast. We record it here live and then distribute it out through everywhere you can find a podcast, basically. Today, I am joined by Sam and Liam. I am, of course, Cool Rick. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So the streak event is going on still, right? For another few days?
Yes.
Like it got extended, right? A few times? Or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the once?
I think 2-3 days because of the bugs, which is actually pretty nice. So
Yeah, that's the real streak. Is they probably broke a streak of like most consecutive maintenance breaks, trying to get this event going.
have you guys had any issues like with the streak event? Because I actually haven't noticed any myself.
I mean, I can't say I've really been paying attention to it, so I'm not sure if I would I haven't noticed anything purely by not even really noticing the event.
The only goofy thing that I've noticed is sometimes I will log in to do like my attack for the day, and then it will just like auto complete for me. Like it's like I had a cached 3-star from the day before that it's giving me credit for. I noticed a lot of problems in the dev build when we were playing with it before it started, but I just chalked it up to like the dev build being a little buggy. And now I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I
Yeah.
should have spoke up.
So basically, this is on you, Vic, now.
You are graciously given access to the dev build, and you won't even let them know when things are broken. I mean, I think this is grounds for removal right here.
Like I wanted to try and figure out how like resetting worked and how gemming stuff done did. So in the dev build, you can like advance time 24 hours or whatever. So I would advance time and try something and fail it. And I was just goofing around that way. And then it kept during the course of me like advancing time, it would end the event and I'd have to reset it. And then a bunch of weird stuff was happening. And I figured it was something I broke by playing with it in the dev menu instead of event itself being broke.
Right, okay. You can get a pass this time. But the accusations of intentional sabotage aren't going to go away.
Like it's definitely, and then also it was just wasn't too interested because it's very clearly not an event for like us. The amount extra in the daily league bonus is who cares. 3,000 shiny ore is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously aimed at getting people daily active, like who aren't already. So I just figured it's not for me. I'm not gonna worry about it.
I mean, the additional bonus loot you get on every attack if you're farming sneaky goblins is pretty insane over time.
Yeah, but I don't need the loot. I'm doing fine for loot. I haven't even thought about it recently. If you just get in your unless you're trying to upgrade heroes, and if you're maxed, if you just sit in legends and do most of your attacks each day, I find I almost never have a problem with loot. So it's not really been a big thing for me.
Do you have all your walls maxed, Sam?
No, but I'm not in like a rush to.
I'm still upgrading my Town Hall 14, so I was debating like leaving my heroes up just so I'd be able to 3-star for the last couple days of it. And it, like 3,000 shiny, I don't think is worth losing basically 3 hero levels and adding a week to my to my max heroes. But then I also just like I really felt like doing a war on that account too, so I figured I'll just do a couple weeks of war. And I normally keep them up for CWL now, which is another thing I've like reversed path on since order. Because I remember I used to always say like, don't like keep your heroes down through CWL.
Your plan doesn't need you. Just like shut up if you think you need to put your heroes down.
But like now though, I have like reverse course on that too because I think it's worth it to keep your heroes down through the month and then bring them up for CWL because you can double dip wars. So like you might as well just be cleaning up on ore during that week. I don't know. Anyway, that's the streak event.
Woo! I mean, I get it's not really it's not offensive in any way. Like it's not nothing bad about it, so I can't really complain about it, even if it's a bit a bit lame.
How broken it was, I think, is telling about how things are at Supercell lately too. Like so many things released just buggy, like way more than normal. Things are being like even though they have a much larger team, things are still being rushed out and probably too quickly. Like I don't know what their QA process is, if they even have one. I don't know how many playtesters they have.
I think it's you guys, and you're doing a pretty shit job by the sounds of it.
No, like no one, like hardly there are a few people who like really try and break things in the dev build, but like most people aren't there as playtesters. They're just like most
Yeah,
people
I
don't even
know.
talk. They just show up, like record some stuff, make their videos, and that's that, which is cool. But yeah, like hopefully they're not relying on us to be playtesters.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if we'll ever get like an update where there's just no bugs and it's just like perfect, flawless.
Absolutely not. There is no way that'll ever happen.
To be fair, most of the time I feel like when I'm tracking the bugs on Reddit, like it's most of them are already like previous known bugs that still haven't been fixed, and so then it's like tricky to know like, oh, is this due to the new update or is this still linked to the old previous ones?
And some stuff just takes forever to like emerge too, or like some of the bugs like they're not really a big deal and they're not noticeable, and they add new stuff to the game that just kind of brings it to the forefront. I think overall, I think they just need to slow down and get out some non-buggy junk. But anyway, speaking of releasing things quickly and probably full of bugs, Squad Busters was announced as a global release, and like they're pushing it hard through the game. Everyone probably noticed you get a little purple spinny orb deal on your UI. You can go and pre-register to download Squad Busters, and if enough people do it, they'll give us a skin, I guess. So I mean, go do that or don't.
Yeah, you may as well.
Yeah, go do your part for the greater good to
It was
get
funny how
everyone
they
a
were
king
calling
skin.
it pre-ordering though, because I didn't even bother to look, so I actually thought they wanted me to pay to get Squad Busters early or something. So it's like, there's no way you expect like 4 million people to pay to get everyone a free skin. But then when I saw like 1 million people had signed up, I was like, huh, maybe it is free.
Yeah, oh, it's free, and it like I only played the first two little closed betas. One I think was only like creators only, and then the other one, but I don't know. It's not for me, and it feels like it's a game designed to sell you loot boxes.
Yay.
So it's not for me. But I contributed towards the now 5 million pre-order goal.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I was considering it, but then after I realized that they were showing it on every single account that I was logging in because I was doing fan games, so I was like, God damn it, how many times do we have to see the same thing over and over? And that just really made me not want to participate in it. So because of that, I kind of hate it right now.
And also like they're obviously gonna give us all that stuff anyway, dude. Like it like
Will they though? Because
just
they didn't
no,
like in previous times, like where we had to like work together as a whole team and we didn't reach the milestone. They didn't give us all the rewards. It was like,
but also like that's not like setting up your brand new like the first game they're launching globally in 6 years. They're gonna start it off with like a failure of just showing like, oh hey, a lot fewer people are interested in this than we planned. No, there's no way they're gonna do that.
yeah, it makes sense.
Like all the goals are even still hidden, which is I assume why it's like it was started off with 1 million pre-orders and the next tier is like 5 mil. And so who knows if it goes, like 10, 15 or 5, like 1, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. Like, like they can be flexible with it and still give rewards and make it sound like there's a lot of hype for the game.
Yeah, I mean they could fudge the numbers and no one would ever know, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think shareholders would know.
Yeah, like they went through the hassle of paying someone to design a skin where they are just gonna shelve it and put it in the trash. Like, I don't think so.
It's like what was that before when we had that event to get some free ore? And they're like, gotta reach this milestone, guys, and you get some free ore, and then we didn't meet it, so then we had to
It
go.
was
Oh well, you can still have a bit.
Here's like a small percentage.
Oh, it was the envelopes, wasn't it? It was the envelopes.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why like Rubble Rumble was like just destroy town halls and like very clearly designed to get us across the finish line. You gotta assume it's the same thing here. Anyway, if anyone's interested in Squad Busters, go ahead and you pre-order through the game and maybe contribute towards getting us a skin and some other random junk.
So, have you guys seen the new mysterious object that has been popping up in bases? Have you guys got one yet?
I did get my soccer ball decoration.
Is that what it is? A soccer ball?
It's a football, but Rick's American, so
Soccer is the British term, I will remind you.
actually, yeah. To be fair, that is true. But then, because we can embrace change effectively, we realised that we were incorrectly terming it compared to the rest of the world, so we changed and you didn't.
You kind of forfeited the word war, as England is
Yeah.
wont to do.
I do enjoy how they called it a mysterious object, though. Like, it wasn't blatantly obvious it's a football. I mean, I'm genuinely not sure what is mysterious about it, but maybe that is to be revealed.
As I understand, there is some European football thing happening
Yep, it's called
shortly.
the Euros. Yeah, it starts in June.
Oh, is that like Premier League, or is that like different, or I really don't know.
Okay, give you a little bit of terminology here. Premier League is the top league in English football, so that is what clubs compete in, like cities like Newcastle or Manchester United, or okay. And then the Euros is a national competition. It's a bit like the World Cup. It's just for only countries in Europe.
Oh, you guys are just too afraid to fight Brazil every year.
Well, we did it in the World Cup. Every continent, every continental football association has their own continental tournament. So like South America has one as well. Yeah, Australia has one. Yeah, Australasia has one. Asia has one, etc., etc. So this is the European one.
I don't know, like maybe it's gonna signal some soccer related stuff in the next month.
Yeah,
But who
I mean,
knows? It's a mystery.
I don't understand why they've done it now because the Euros do not start until June. But I'm sure they've got something planned.
Oh, they're trying to get the hype ready, build it up over time.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Like, I still don't like. Normally by now they will have showed us all the skins and stuff for the next month. So just so creators can start making their content and videos. Maybe that's coming Monday. I guess I assume. But yeah, I still don't really know what's going on for May or June or really long term.
Well, then again, you could, even if you did, it's not like you could say much here, could you?
Oh yeah, like it's cool. I get to be surprised just like you guys.
Did someone not just leak that in the chat here?
Yeah, and I was about to say that did jog my memory of seeing a king equipment on the Clash of Clans leak subreddit of a football that you could just absolutely smack at defenses. So I think that sounds like it could be related. I think our next event could be potentially related to that.
I don't know. I'm not.
Uh,
Well, I don't know.
It's just a hunch.
The next thing that I did want to discuss with you two cool cats, we have the first qualifiers done under our belts for World. Golden and silver
Yay.
ticket's now a thing. So Synchronic won the April qualifiers, and Navi got second place. So they have an automatic entry into the last chance qualifiers in I don't know, August maybe. I don't know, later on in the summer. But I assume they can still enter the May and June qualifiers as well. Probably not the Chinese one, but
Yeah, that would be a bit of a surprise, wasn't it?
did you guys watch any of those wars?
Nope.
I mean, I I was gonna say, I'll be honest, yeah, I don't really pay attention to any of the esports stuff. It's not like I don't get the appeal really. For me, it's all about just progressing and trying to help my clan. But
Like, if you were picking it up now, you're still not going to get the appeal. Like, I don't like people who
Yeah.
have watched it for years. I think are questioning the appeal of it right now.
I mean, I've been watching it for years, and I completely just haven't even watched any of the tournaments recently because I watched a few competitive wars, and it's just boring.
weren't
Yeah,
you
it was
supposed to
boring.
be the esports person, Sam? Like you were like the
Yeah,
big fan pushing it.
I was, and I enjoyed it. And they made the game
Yeah.
awful. So I don't do this to torture myself. I used to do it for fun.
I don't know that the game is awful right now. I think the way it's balanced makes for an awful esport. I will clarify because I'm having fun. I mean, I'm having fun tripling way too much, way more often than I should. But yeah, just watching it because it's all about like it's all about time now, and the time meta is not entertaining at all, at least to me. Just
Yeah, and
watching the same kind of attacks over and over and over again, just because those are the ones that triple the fastest.
especially when fails come about, not because the attack, the good base building, for example, well placed traps or etc. etc. Attacks fail because people are trying to rush them and they make mistakes doing it. I mean, they're not failing due to the conventional sense. I imagine most players, pro players, could triple every single base if they were happy to take the full 3 minutes, but they know they can't do that. So fails are literally only coming about because people are rushed.
If it were a different tiebreaker than time, all of these wars would probably be 15-15 wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like they're focusing on the wrong thing, and it's like because they start to focus, like they lose the main objective, which is to triple. That's why they start failing in a time. But even though it's not a real fail, as you call it, Sam, it's still like if you lose focus for not like tripling on time, then that's still a fail. Like you should have planned better
Yeah.
and just
I just think there's a big issue here, right? Because we know that balance changes between town halls. Town Hall 15 was hard. Town Hall 14 was less hard, and it usually cycles in that way. We have a hard Town Hall, then we have a less hard Town Hall, but it's never been this bad. I mean, it's never been the case where people are automatically expected to triple and they are expected to do it in about a minute. I mean, it's never been in this state. I get the casual competitive argument has been a thing for years and years, and it will be a thing for years and years, but there's pushing it too far in one direction, which I think is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder actually, like if you like it track the top of legends, so like the highest number of trophies each month, would you be able to see like, oh, this month, the high score was like whatever 7,000. So based on that, like, can you see the difficulty level?
Not really, because if you think, okay, people might be doing their attacks really well, but then on the contrary, that means their defenses are getting absolutely railed as well. So anyone putting up, say, plus 320 days, you can expect they're probably getting minus, 300 or so days as well. I mean, if you can attack really well, so can everyone else around you.
So then it balances out. Yeah.
To a degree.
Like I'm not too high. I'm 5,700 right now. And like I'm not getting 320 days because I goof off a lot, but I'm getting real close to like negative 320 days constantly. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's dumb. It's just like when you screw up. Like I'm trying to do a lot of fireball stuff still, so sometimes just bases just aren't. There's not a whole lot of fireball value, so it kind of is just oh well, But I'm not trying to push super high either.
Yeah, no, I mean the main reason that I was thinking about high score trophies is because I don't know if anyone else noticed, but in Clan Capital, I believe we've reached like the high score, and now all the clans are kind of going down. So like in terms of, I was tracking like the most amount of trophies a clan had in Clan Capital, and then I saw like from the week to week it started getting smaller basically. So I don't know if we'll ever reach that high again, but you two probably haven't looked at that at all.
Oh, I definitely don't look at Clan Capital.
Like I do all my raids. I'm doing way more raids than I used to. Again,
Yeah, the introduction of ore to the shop has made me make sure I do my raids.
I know. Like I had quit doing all my alts, and then now that ore's back in the shop, I'm back to doing 12 accounts through 6 capital hits every week, and it really doesn't take
Yeah,
that
I mean,
long with miners still. So
no, it doesn't. And I could, because before I could comfortably 2 raids. Like, I mean, obviously not great for my clan. I did try to do it and I remembered, but like if I missed a week of raids, I wouldn't be crying about it because I knew I could still easily just afford to raid medal my CC. But now there's ores, I actually feel like I do need to make sure I do my raids every weekend.
hey, let's go back to the April
Yeah,
qualifiers
that
real
sounds
quick
good to
because I wrote down all these stats and you're gonna hear them.
You got
So
the stats.
yeah, I wanted equipment stats too, but I couldn't find any, and I definitely didn't want to rewatch all those wars just to tag what equipment was used, and it was like it's a lot of the same equipment. So
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that. I didn't think you'd be able to read too much into it.
yeah, there's this guy named Kami Cab on Twitter. I stole a bunch of his stats, but so overall root riders were used in 72% of all the hits. 66%, like 66% of all hits were specifically Root Rider, Super Barb, and Valk. I didn't go count up how much were Overgrowth or not, but it was kind of a decent split whether or not they were using Overgrowth.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 3/4 of all the attacks in the final, so that's 11 wars. But yeah, 3/4 of them essentially were Root Rider spam. Like Lalo, everyone used to complain about like how prevalent Lalo was. Lalo never hit 70% overall.
And Lalo, the reason you saw it a lot, right, was because it's a good attack, right, and it still is, but it's not very fast, so that's why it's not really used now, and also it was hard to do. I mean, the pros quote made it look easy, right, and they had great success with it, but most people trying to pick up a Lalo can't do it effectively. So at least, even if it was a bit repetitive at times, at least you could appreciate the skill in effectively using it, whereas you don't get that with Root Riders.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
like whether or not you set up a good funnel with root riders and time your spells okay. Like you don't even have to be good. Like like you have to be good to do it with a much higher speed. But like I picked up that same attack and I've been doing it lately too. And it's like I get 7 of 8 triples a day a lot. And like they're not as fast as the pros, but it's an attack that's like hard to screw up.
Yeah, I've been testing out actually with Root Rider and Bats. And yeah, sometimes I get triples even without CC or like spells in CC, which it rarely ever happens because I'm not a pro, clearly.
Outside of root riders, the next most common attack was I'll just say dragons, but that means like regular dragons in Hydra and stuff, and also electro drags. Those like any kind of dragon based attack was 17% of the overall attacks in the finals, and only 8% was Lalo, and that's Zap Lalo and everything else like Lalo.
Yeah, pretty strong minority then.
The overall the triple rate was 89%. So like 89% of all those attacks across those 11 wars were triples. 4 of the 11 total wars, because it was 11 because there was a bracket reset, but 4 of those wars went to the time tiebreaker,
Wow.
and there were only 3 total wars where at least one team didn't get 15 stars. So the vast majority, at least one of them had 15 stars. Okay, if you look back to 2023, last year's World Finals with the Town Hall 15 one, there were 15 total wars in the final. 2 of them, like only 2 times in the World Finals did a team get 15 stars last year.
And they were good wars. I enjoyed the last World Finals.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, they were all solid. And then in 2022, like I'll backtrack. In 2023, there were no time tiebreakers at all
Yeah.
in the finals. In 2022, there were also no time tiebreakers, and that was it was a big topic too in 2022 about like thinking that time tiebreakers were a lot more common. We talked about it 2 years ago on our early episodes, like, but
Yeah,
it just really wasn't
there was a
happening.
thing where people like genuinely thought the Town 14 was too easy, and while that may have had some merits, I mean, it doesn't compare to what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I looked through last year's what would they call them, like community qualifier tournaments, like the CoC Cup and Rush
Oh
Masters or
yeah,
whatever. I looked through all of last year's. There were no time tiebreakers like the whole year at all. And then like there's less info that I was able to find for the Town Hall 14 championship too, but also not a lot of time tiebreakers.
I mean, you only get time tiebreakers when both teams get a perfect war, and that
Yeah,
is just that was just exceptionally rare in the past. I mean, that basically
yeah,
didn't
and
happen.
so just saying that like 4 of the 11 went to a time tiebreaker this year, it doesn't sound like a ton, but just comparatively, like it's happening a lot more.
That's a lot.
But is that kind of what keeps it like suspenseful? Is that when you don't have tiebreakers, that's why you're always like excited for every new star, and that's the competitive aspect. That's like, ooh, that's what makes it interesting to watch. Because if it's all just tiebreakers in 15-15, then it's like gets really boring. So that balance is kind of what they're aiming for it to be like last worlds, right?
If this is the genuine balance they're aiming for, that would worry me. I hope they at
Right.
least see this as an issue, and I think they do.
So then they miscalculated something or haven't planned for this. Too easy.
I'd rather see a variety of attacks and then not care about time too, because I know it's not like you said, it's not suspenseful assuming every attack is going to be a triple, and then wondering like, oh cool, he did it in a minute 35, how is that going to affect the overall average?
Yeah,
And then waiting to see
I,
the math slowly change over half an hour. That's not
it's
suspenseful
not
or entertaining
exciting
to me.
going, oh, look, that player did their attack 3 seconds faster than the player from Team B. Wow, that's going to have a dramatic income on the tie. It's before it used to be, oh my god, they've just one-starred. This is massive. They could, X team could get back in it. But now it's, oh, they attacked in 5 seconds slower. That could be an issue. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not exciting, is it?
It's funny to me
Yeah,
how much of human psychology is involved in it, because like when things are hard, that makes them worthwhile in a way. So planning for that.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of obvious in a competitive nature. To make things competitive, there should be a challenge, right? It should be
Yeah,
difficult to
exactly.
win, and at the moment it's not. I mean, arguably it is difficult to win because obviously there's still only one winner. But when it's based on such a ridiculous variable like time, like Clash of Clans has never been about doing attacks fast. It was only that sneaky goblin thing we had for the anniversary last year was the only time where Clash has ever been about doing an attack fast. I mean, it's just ridiculous, really. I'm not a fan.
I don't know, like at least Supercell has said a few times that they're trying to experiment with a few different options, and like, there was that whole Inside the Builder Hut video that we'll talk about too. But part of that, I
Yeah,
know he said like it's coming at some point. So hopefully just before the World Finals at the end of the year.
I mean, I know on our podcast with him, on our episode with him, he did float the idea of a pro mode that they could explore. So I wonder whether that is in the pipeline. If that's their solution.
Yeah, I mean, even if they do make a pro mode, like, would anyone play it other than the pros, or would it
Well,
just
I
be
don't
like,
think that's the point, is it? I think that would be their ideal scenario.
yeah, fair enough?
Yeah, like
But then, like, would they develop that whole feature just for a really small subset of players? Like, is that worth the development and time and cost?
you know too, like if there was like an option for spinning wars for regular clans that you could do, normal mode or pro mode, people are gonna see it. People are gonna look at that as like,
Hmm.
oh, like we're skilled. We're definitely gonna do pro mode, and we're not gonna
That's no
play,
bad thing.
with like we're not gonna play with safety pads on.
Hmm.
Play the
It's
baby
like when you
mode.
go bowling and you have like the things on the sides that keep
I
your
think the
ball in.
only issue, I think the only issue is like a complete disconnect between how pros play and how casuals play. For example, when a new attack gets popular, we have to watch its video and goes, "Sorry guys, this is only gonna work if you're on pro mode because the balancing." It's like, oh, okay, well I can't do this in Titans. Oh, yeah, like if
Well,
you
I mean,
can't copy the attacks that pros are doing, then or strategies have to be made differently or they're not copyable between the modes. I think that would be a bit of a shame, but I don't know how that'd
yeah,
be
like
avoided if they do go that route.
that. If it was, if watching pro matches was me watching things that I couldn't translate to my own play, like I would lose the little interest I do have already. It would be gone.
Have you like had a recent thing that you like, oh, I can use that in my own attack, or have you ever learned anything from it?
Yeah, like I like like I watched those the April qualifier finals, and I started doing a root rider attacks in the same like style. Like, I've been doing root rider attacks for months, obviously, same as everyone else, but like a different style. I switched up my equipment too. I saw a lot of use of the healer puppet, and that convinced me to actually finally upgrade my healer puppet on my queen, and I switched to that off the frozen arrow. I don't know, like for legends, I think I like it better. But certain attacks in war, I'll probably still use a frozen arrow. So like, I mean, I picked that up from watching, so that was cool.
Yeah, I think people often forget how much the pro scene pushes the meta. Because even if you're not realizing it, videos from, say, Itsu will be based on the fact that, they've seen this new attack that someone has used in Worlds, or a lot of new strategies are pushed by pros. And if they're no longer providing that function because their attacks just don't work in the main game, which most people are playing, I could see. I mean, I'm sure new attacks would come about. So, obviously they would, but the meta wouldn't be driven in the same way as it is now, which could be a bit of a shame.
Yeah, makes sense.
They will do something, I'm sure, but what that is and how many people it'll piss off, who knows?
So I didn't want to talk about other stuff from the Inside the Builder Hut video too. It was Fairy and one of the devs named Vesa, who we've talked about a lot before. If you go back to
Okay.
the episode that we did after Spencer and I got back from Finland, we kept saying like, oh, there was a guy that we talked to, that we sat down for like
Oh,
6 hours
he's the
with, and
guy.
and berated with questions constantly for like one really long night and a lot of the next day. Yeah, that was the guy at Vesa. One of the first things they talked about in that video was changing the rate of progression, because right now it everything goes really fast, and you burn through all these town halls, and then you hit like town hall 12, and things just skyrocket up, and there's this exponential ramp up of upgrade time, and he wants to kind of level that out, which I think would be huge for the game.
Yeah, it's already clear that they are. Obviously, he wants it in a different way, which is interesting. But they clearly at least have stopped going in the way of every town hall things get longer, right? Because Town 16 things did not get longer, so at least they've moved away from that. But yeah, it is weird how you can like you said, jump to Town 12 really quickly, and then suddenly you just don't get the same amount of content. So if they do rework that, I mean, that would be massive in terms of how the game is played.
When you say balancing out, like basically that's what they do on every new town hall. It's just like change the upgrade times from before, but that's not changing the exponential period. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because even though I think they aim to keep it around 2 to 3 years to max, I mean maybe 2 if you're paying the gold pass, 3 or so if you're free to play. I mean I think while they try to keep that time frame consistent, the fact is that you'll spend the first year or so, maybe even less, getting to Town 12, and then you spend 2 or 3 years getting to Town 16. So you can do 12 town halls in half the time you do 4. And I think that's the bit which they want to address.
And to address that, would they just have like a button like, oh, like level up straight to town hall 8 or,
Well,
whatever, pay
you
this amount?
you technically already have that, don't you? You can just rush as high as you want without upgrading anything, apart from building a few buildings. But
Yeah, like heroes are a huge part of that, just because like you do need to upgrade them to have a lot of success, and it's so punishing to not have them, and there's so many damn hero levels.
Yeah, I've noticed that on my main, like it's just so many every, like basically 7 days every time, and it's like, God, it's like a whole week.
Or an equipment was originally pitched as a way to like transition hero upgrades, to from what's important, instead of just it being purely the hero level, into you can spend and invest your time and actual money in a different area, and then use that as a way to maybe give us back our heroes while they're upgrading. And that hasn't materialized yet. They're still saying that's the ultimate goal. Like the more time it takes, the more I doubt that's ever going to happen, because I think like what I assume they're finding is that people are still buying hero books, and still, still paying to upgrade the hero levels, and in addition to, they're buying ore. So I don't see them replacing hero books with ore and equipment. It's just, here's a second thing to spend money on. As long as people are spending on both, like it's not a replacement.
I mean, I'm not sure if I entirely share the cynicism. I get it, but I think now they've openly addressed the problem, addressed it multiple times, and even gone as far to explicitly say the problem exists because they want money. I mean, it's not common for a game studio to say anything to that degree. So I think the fact that it's very clearly out there now, even though everyone knew it before, it's now publicly an issue. They should work to address it, but you're right. It must be hard for some of the higher ups to go, yeah, we're gonna approve you slashing part of our revenue unless they can effectively siphon it off to other areas like ores, which hopefully is their plan.
That transparency, I really, really love, like that new direction. And I don't know how much of an influence Fairy had on that, but I really appreciate that. So thank you very much for that, by the way.
Cynical is the right word for me, I guess. Like, they also talked about, like, one of the big questions I see on Reddit all the time is, why does there need to be 3 ores? And they did answer
Money,
that too.
money,
And like
money.
the way he phrased it was, like, having different limiting factors is going to push you to, the word he said was diversify which equipment you're upgrading, and how often. I would say, like, I don't know, it kind of forces you to specialize, and you narrow your focus, which is less fun for me. I like being able to change what I'm doing day to day, and I don't know, I think they want you to view that as a positive thing, but I don't know, I don't.
It's a weird objective, isn't it? Because the point of hero equipment was meant to expand, what you could do with your heroes. It was meant to offer you customizability to go, okay, for this attack, I think this equipment will suit it better. A bit like pets, really, in that same aspect. But the difference is, it's quite easy to get all your pets maxed up and then actually have them different and viable for each attack. It's a bit odd that this whole new feature, which was based on the idea of giving you more customizability, they think you should approach as something that you need to focus on singular elements and disregard most of the customizability.
I mean, maybe the customizability is more for once you get to that maxed out point and you have them all, and then you can really switch them out. But that seems like it'll take a long time as well, like maxing out your town hall. So
Like it's just frustrating too. Like we've had equipment for 5 months now coming up, right?
God,
Like
right, yeah.
we have pretty much all the defenses and offense stuff we're going to get for Town Hall 16, and the Town Hall 16 content that's going to come out is going to be new equipment, it seems. So now I'm in a spot where like I don't I saw a ton of hog puppet on the RC, and I haven't touched my hog puppet yet. So now I'm questioning, like, do I want to upgrade the hog puppet, or do I want to wait and see what the RC epic is going to be, or save all this ore for whatever equipment is coming next? It's hard to decide, and I don't know, like every time I feel like I'm starting to catch up, there's a new equipment that just kicks that can down the road to being like not just maxing all my equipment, but like getting to the point where I have the equipment that I feel I need for just 2 or 3 different attacks. Not everything, but yeah, I feel like I'm pigeonholed into doing certain things and upgrading certain things and not experimenting and having fun, and that's what sucks.
that's actually kind of the reason I didn't want to get any of the epic equipments, because then I just have the basic ones, and then like I don't have to worry about, like, once I have them upgraded, then it's all like I don't have anything more to do.
I mean, I actually don't get that. I think that is a bit odd. Yeah.
But it's
Like,
it's
they're not forcing you to spend ores on it.
but it's like it's a distraction. They're like, hey, look at this bright new shiny object, and I'm like, no, like, what's the point of having a bright new shiny object just because it's new and all, when you can actually focus on just maxing all of them, and then you have all the max, and you can sort them out, and But yeah, maybe I think I am a minority there.
That logic is so flawed, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, potato, right?
No, that's just wrong.
So he also said they're planning 2 epics per hero, no more commons, and then as soon as they get all those out, then they're going to kind of reassess. So if we're thinking, that kind of gets us through Town Hall 16, assuming 17 comes December with their new yearly goal. We can get
Yeah.
an epic in May, June, July, August. Another 4 months. That gives us 2 epics per hero. Then we have September, October, November. 3 months to really kind of play with, and maybe not introduce stuff right before the finals. Maybe we get some more ore months mixed in there. I appreciate that, and then figure out the path forward with Town Hall 17. And if they are going to do like a legendary equipment or something, it would make sense to start that with the new Town Hall.
It just seems overwhelming, doesn't it? Especially
Yeah.
now they've cut down on the amount of time on the time frame town halls come out in. I mean, I love new content, but my God, I can't even begin to think that we've got a new town hall in what, 8 months possibly.
Yeah, probably December is
Huh?
which would make sense if finals are November. Just do the same thing, like in an
Are
intro
finals confirmed to be in
preview.
November? Out of interest.
I think so. I don't
Okay, I don't know.
know. Yeah, like, and that's not. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I don't know if they are or not. Either way, though, too, one of the other things that Vesa talked a lot about with us in person, and that Ferry and who was ever running the other accounts with him, they've talked about new heroes too. So if they give us a 5th hero, even if they still only let us 4, there's another 4 commons and 2 epics to give us with Town Hall 17. Then that keeps the ore money train flowing, doing it that way, and then you can add a 6th hero, and like in that conversation with Vesa too, where we were sitting around the table, he's like, you know what is one of my other favorite games, and he pulled out, it's like Arena Heroes or something. I don't remember the name, but like I think we talked about it but back on that episode in November, December. But then he was just like, "Look, this game has 50 heroes. Like no one's upgrading all of them to max. And he was saying that like it's a positive thing. So like
I
stuff
don't
like that kind
know.
of scares me for the future Clash. Like I don't want endless heroes and to not be able to use all this stuff either.
Yeah, I want it when I see a video come out saying this is the new best strategy in Clash of Clans. I want to be able to go, oh, sick, I've got the stuff, let's give it a go. Not, oh, I didn't prioritize that piece of equipment. Well, I guess I'll give it a try in 3 months and the meta's changed.
Fear of missing out is going to be a big one on that.
Yeah, and it is huge too, because like I can look. If I look in the shop right now, there's 20,000 shiny and 600 glowy and 65 starry packs. I buy a couple of those. I just
Yeah.
said I wish I had a max hog puppet and I didn't have to save for whatever's next. And if I want to go spend $40, I can do that.
And it's not even just a case of just feeling like you've missed out in the sense that, I can't have fun with this. It's the sense that you might actually be restricted to attacks which aren't as good, which are out of meta just because you prioritize the wrong thing, which you couldn't have known about because, X new equipment only came out last Tuesday, and how are you supposed to know save all your ore for that one piece I think it would be a shame if they force us into a situation where where they want us to prioritize and not experiment with lots of different things.
Is that maybe like just a good kind of life training thing? Because in life as well, like you make decisions and then you kind of get stuck down one path and you can't just go back and do it all over again.
Life is boring. Games are meant to
So
be an escape from real life. We shouldn't have to conform to their rules.
Yeah, no, Liam wants every aspect of his life to mirror every other aspect, and it all to be the same, and everything goes in this perfect little neat box. And
Yeah, it's requires less cognitive thinking as you can optimize things, be more
Yeah.
efficient. It's perfect. It's like
Yeah,
computer
and
everything.
yeah, just make sure you turn the lights off 3 or 4 times every time you leave a room, and always wash your hands. And
Exactly.
I also don't want to have like the only things I say be negative about Vesa is brought to the game, because there's a lot of cool stuff too. He was the guy who basically was like behind like the event structure, like when the very first one, the mashup madness Halloween stuff. Like he didn't design the actual troops, but like the event
That was
itself,
a
that
good
was
event.
that was him. Yeah, that was him, and those are good and those are fun, and that's a really good structure to bring to the game. I think they're having us do it too much, so it's getting a little old and repetitive. But that was solid, and that was him. And one of the other things he brought up in that video is he said his team is the one working on the new recruiting tool, or he might have called it Clan Discovery. It's essentially that. So, I mean, I'm fairly confident they're going to come up with something decent.
Yeah, and I'm buzzing for that. I mean, that's great. Finally, the recruitment tool is going to be fixed because they really put it off after they removed global. They really put it off.
A better recruiting tool is something they've been saying for forever. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
God, I remember years ago, like Darian saying, "Oh well, we gave it to some third party, and it's going to be a absolute pain in the ass, guys, sort out. So don't expect anything from us, eh?"
but I don't like hearing him say that. Hey, like he personally and his team are the ones working on that. Like I think it's actually the closest to being true that we've ever had from those "we're working on it" statements.
Yeah, it's not we'd like to do it, it's we're working on it, and that's new.
Conversely, the other thing that we've heard a billion times before is that, they're going to get better at communicating. Hey, guys, we're going to do better communicating is the most communicated message that Supercell has ever communicated. Like they say it all the time and it never really materializes, but who knows? Maybe,
I think it's happening.
maybe the, maybe the 37th time is the charm.
Amen.
All right. What else you guys want to hit on?
I think they mentioned how with clan chat they and I think it tied in with the recruitment, they weren't looking to replace Discord, which I think was something we were even talking about in the last podcast. That was interesting to hear how they do recognise the fact that there can be a dual purpose or dual cooperation.
It didn't sound like there's much more coming for clan chat, but there might be a few more little small tweaks. Like maybe, I would guess maybe some more emojis, maybe like
Oh yeah.
a more official poll function other than just like, hey, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down emoji on it. It's small stuff, but basically clan chat is almost in its final stage.
Yeah, and I think it's fine as it is. I think it would be a bit irritating if it was actually really bloated. I'm glad they recognise that they don't need to compete with Discord. They just need to, add a few niceties on their side.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the modernization of it. It finally feels like we're, getting somewhere with that.
Well, is that everything from the Builder Hut video, or is there any massive announcement we've missed?
No, there's nothing big in there.
Well, Rick, maybe you'd like to tell us about your enlightening coaching experience you had recently.
I've been wanting to do this forever. I heard like Carl did it on CTJ podcast a long time ago, and talked about his experience with getting a coaching session done. And I've wanted to do it personally just for a long time too. And then after we started our own podcast too, I thought, hey, this would be a good idea to steal and also talk about too. So yeah, I went to Blueprint and I paid to have an 1 hour coaching session, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, tell us.
What did you learn from it?
What
Like
happened? Did you learn anything?
specific details?
Are
Yeah.
you
No,
wiser?
no, that's it. No, it was cool. I have an
Yeah.
NDA. No, I don't. No, so I shot a message to like their like customer support bot online, and it's like, yo, go to Discord and then open a ticket and just talk about what you want out of your coaching session there. So I did that. I was already in their Discord, and I just said, hey, like I am really trying to make my fireball work, and I'm doing pretty decent with it. I just don't know how to approach certain bases, and whether I get a super easy fast triple or like I fail and get a 1 star. I don't always know exactly what I did wrong or what I did right, and I just want to get a lot more consistent with fireball based attacks. I don't really care about time, so like whether it's super witches, which are on the slow side, or fireball under root riders, I don't really care. I just want to, I'm just worried about tripling. So they came back with a couple options and said, hey, like, like this guy knows about fireball and this guy knows about fireball, blah, blah, blah. Like, just choose. We'll try and set up a time, and went from there. And then I got to talk to the guy. The guy I got hooked up with was TK. He's done a few videos for him, and he has his own channel on YouTube. I'll link it because I think he does good content. Talked a little bit with him about what I wanted to learn. And then, yeah, we set a time for the lesson. It was, like start to finish was within a few days. And that was just kind of based on my own availability. And it was cool. It wasn't exactly what I pictured it was going to be going in, but I also think, like, when I looked back at the conversations I had before it, I think I got exactly what I paid for.
So firstly, can I ask how much you paid for it?
It was $34 for an hour. And then, like, I forget if there's tax involved with that or not, but it was
All right.
like $34 for an hour.
How many hours did you do? Like just one?
Just one. Yeah, just one. And then like you can also you can bring up to like 5 people and like split the cost
Wow.
too. So if you want it, like, and I think different coaches have different prices. So I mean, you can shop around and split the cost between a few people.
Yeah, so you said that it wasn't what you were expecting. So what was the actual format like? Like how were you taught to be better?
Yeah. So what we did was we got on a Discord voice call. He shared his screen. I joined a clan with him, so I had my tablet up and my computer open, and we just were on a voice call, just talking about stuff. And he was taking screenshots of bases I brought and bases he had. Just we talked through planning and how to execute and how to look at bases and how to approach certain things, making sure you're getting good fireball value, how to force it. He gave me a different comp, which was a little weird, different than what I was using, but we only did one friendly challenge in the whole hour, which is that's the part that kind of like was weird to me. I used the comp he gave and a base that I like. It was one of mine because he said, "You show me the kind of base that you're having problems with," and I dropped a challenge out and we drew on it, and he had me attack it, and I got it down. I would do it again. I think I would, in that little planning stage. I think I would just say, like, I'm paying for an hour. Let's just do friendly challenges for an hour, and then you tell me what I'm screwing up and what I'm doing right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have assumed that that's how you kind of learn and get better, is just by practicing lots on challenges. But
Even though I only did one friendly challenge, like the conversation and talking through stuff one on one, while we're drawn on the screen was still really valuable, and I got a lot of good tips, and I think I did, improve with, with my own attacks out of it. So I definitely got a lot. I don't want to sound negative. It is something I would consider doing again.
yeah, maybe it's the sort of thing that like the first time you do it, you don't really know, but then as you get like more specific and detailed, then you get more and more value out of it. Maybe.
Like I probably wouldn't do it on the regular, but
Well, that yeah.
it would also be really valuable too if I was learning a whole new attack. I know like TK was saying he's been focusing on like Sui Lalo or Zap Lalo, one of the two. And lately, so like those are two things I've never really done. So like doing a full hour lesson on something totally new like that, I think would be a lot more valuable than trying to get better at an attack I'm already fairly decent with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me a bit of a university or school in a way. Like you teach and learn.
Yeah. Like, it's a lot easier to go from like 0% knowledge to like, being 80% there than to go from, 90% to 95%.
Hmm.
And then you have an
But
exam
I
at
don't
the
know.
end.
Yeah, yeah. But it was good. It was a cool experience. So, I know Blueprint has some mixed people have mixed feelings about Blueprint, and rightfully so on some points, but I was happy with the money I spent there.
Yeah, good value.
Right.
Speaking of base building, Bird Base is back after its long absence after being, what was it, like hacked or whatever happened there. Yeah, it's returned. Are you guys happy about that? Did you use it much before? Well, I know Rick did, but Liam, were you a big Bird Base fan previously?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm definitely a fan of anything that helps improve the experience. I haven't used like I used it a bit in the beginning, but I didn't really like because I realized it was like I'm not that good, so it's not gonna have that much value. But I'm sure if you only have one account and you're doing like good attacks, then yeah, it definitely has good value in it. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan, but I was really encouraging of the idea. But I'm happy they're back, and because that always
Yeah.
sucks when that happens to you. And Rick, you use it regularly, I imagine.
I did up until they like they had a former, I don't know if employee is the right word, I guess, but from what I understand, some former insider got salty and deleted all their info and backups, and that's why Burnt Base kind of went away for a while. But I think they're back. They have a pretty big database. It sounds like I think I saw the guy send a message saying they had even more videos on file now, which is cool. But I don't think I'm gonna return as a paying customer, and that is 100% just because of equipment. Too, like I don't like it was already getting a little less valuable over time because at Town Hall 15 they introduced spell towers too, so you would get videos where like the spell tower is different, so you can't really you can drop a Sarge blimp on top of a rage tower, but like you can't on a poison tower too. And there's differences in ground and air expos and multi infernos. It's still useful. It's still cool that you can see traps if you want to, if there's a base match. But with equipment now too, like there's just even more that's going to be different in watching those replays and trying to replicate them. Where I think like each as Clash gets more complicated, tools like Burnt Base and Find This Base are less valuable over time.
Yeah, I guess you could equally make the argument that it's more valuable as attacks get harder and etc. But considering attacks aren't very hard at the moment, I don't know whether the market is quite there.
Yeah, like I haven't found a base at Town Hall 16 where I feel like I really need a video.
Yeah, I wonder how base builders is doing these days. Well, there can't be many
Well, I
people
mean, like,
buying bases knowing they're gonna get probably smoked within a day or two.
yeah, I mean, like like we also asked base builders that a few episodes ago.
Yeah,
You were there for that one.
I was there for that one. I know. I'm saying, yeah, I'm just adding my distaste to the current meta.
Yeah,
I'm just reinforcing my point here.
it does have to be frustrating trying to design bases that like just slow down root rider spam instead of actually stopping stuff.
God.
Watching your work that you've spent maybe days on just get destroyed in like 3 minutes is kind of more depressing sometimes, I imagine.
Oh well. Conclusion: the meta sucks. Hopefully they fix it. They probably won't.
There's a lot of year left in the year of the home village, so hopefully we get some cool stuff to shake it up.
Yeah.
But how much more can they do other than, like most of Town Hall 16's here, Town Hall 17? I mean,
Fix the troops. Nerf them. I don't care what they do. Fix it.
They like not nerfing root riders isn't a solution they want to explore,
Well,
kind
then
of thing.
they should have a look in the mirror and wonder what else they're gonna do. I mean, genuinely, if we get to Worlds and all I'm watching is people spam root riders and hope they do it their attack in 1 minute, I am going to punch something. So if they don't sort it out by Worlds, they have a really big problem on their hands.
You have to imagine that's the deadline too, to have something in place.
Right, but it also needs to be in place before Worlds because you can't have pros only having done root rider spam for the last a year or so, just under, and then
It was painful just trying to listen to those guys just fill time to like, because how many different ways can you talk about the same root rider's Valk attack?
yeah, wow, they've already sneaky goblin that gold mine. Well, wow, they got the troops right in. Yeah, that's cool.
Like if that's what the next 3 qualifiers are going to be and the last chance, like just don't even have casters.
Yeah, it really reduces like the length of these events as well. I mean, Lex knows, so I used to watch a lot for just because he'd often upload a pro war every day, right? The videos used to be 30, 40 minutes long. They're now about 20. I mean, genuinely, like it's at the very least, if you want to put a good spin on it, it's a time saving measure. I mean, they're getting through these wars a lot quicker.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, whatever. I hate it all.
Like, dude, I'm glad I'm not the negative one right now. Like, this is rare for me, or at least I'm not the most negative one.
I mean, speaking of negatives, can I just add a small frustration I just encountered actually? Just random.
Yeah, go for it.
Please.
So I just noticed, apparently, maybe this is known, but basically, when you go to Town Hall 8 and you unlock the blacksmith, you have to wait for the blacksmith to finish building before you can claim your free ore in the trader. And I feel like once you've placed it, you can't cancel it. So like you should be able to claim it as soon as you place it. But I think because they've just changed the logic recently, they haven't gotten around to it, but it's still frustrating that I have to wait a day to claim my free ore. But yeah.
Yeah,
just
I've got bigger issues in life, I'll be honest.
small details.
I kind of wonder how that works for regular storages. Like I know, like the initial golden elixir storages only take like 10 seconds, so you'd have to be really quick to see like when, like does it add that storage capacity, that like 1,000 storage capacity when you build a new one right away, or when it
No,
finishes?
I think for gold it does it when you finish it, but
Yeah, well, and then like if it's consistent with the other storages, I think it's probably fine. Like the DE storage might be longer.
yeah, it's like 12 hours, I think.
Yeah, Hawkeye has a question about, do lightning spells still bounce off the blacksmith? And I don't
Ooh, good
know.
question.
I think they do, yeah.
I mean, we can FC that real quick and find out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
No, like we can do some editing magic where we just sound really intelligent. Like yes, in
Yeah,
fact
we
they
will.
do, Hawkeye.
Yeah,
No,
no, they
absolutely
do.
not,
I
Hawkeye.
know they
don't do
do
that.
because I've seen this before. I've tested before, and
Yeah, but
just
have you
now,
tested
so I
it
know.
since the update?
Yeah, of course,
And,
yeah.
and now we can just edit in the right answer. Yeah, I wonder if the original intent was to have it act like more like a real storage that might have been raidable.
Yeah.
If they did have, it'd be immune from lightning spells. There's no reason for that unless it was protecting like a resource.
My guess is actually it's how it's coded, right? And
Yeah.
it's probably they've inherited the class storage for the blacksmith because it acts similarly in most other aspects. That storage class has the attributes, lightning damage off, and therefore there you go, it's inherited that. It's probably not something they put a ton of thought into, and it just kind of happened.
It's always some dorky coding reason.
Yeah, it's. I guarantee it's because of inheritance. I guarantee they've inherited something that has done that.
That does make me wonder, like, would it have been a cool thing if you could like lightning the blacksmith and then you get that player's ore from that? Like you could steal people's ore.
Oh, well, that would rework their whole intention of how they intend to distribute. Also, like the economy would be so different.
Like people would have just immediately uninstalled the game for that one. If you're like, oh,
Nope,
like, oh,
I'm
cool, like
done.
like I spent 4 months saving up starry ore, and then like I forgot to pop a shield at the right time, and
Well,
then
I mean,
some butthole with just 11 lightning spells all my starry away.
you can buy golden elixir and dark elixir, and that can be looted. So same logic applies, I suppose, or
Hmm.
not.
All right, I think let's wrap it up. So, you guys have any shout outs?
I wanted to shout out Ninja, who hopped in real quick, and Einfish, who I think is not German but Austrian, because he does great capital stuff. So, shout out to fellow Capital Clans and Ninja for keep on putting out great content.
Yeah, Ninja's a cool guy. Like, he has a creator code Ninja. You can use code Ninja, or if you're not, so much into spending money in the game, if you use his site, go ahead and whitelist him in your ad blocker, and he can get a little revenue through ads because his site is awesome. And only tools would say otherwise.
Yeah, can I just say, like, having his site for free is amazing. Like, really appreciate that.
I've even now gone and turned off my ad blocker for him.
There you go, Sam, being a cool guy.
I'm literally paying for Ninja's like meal deal tomorrow. I'm so generous.
Does he have like a buy me a beer kind of thing going? I think you can pay to not have ads on the site. I believe
Yeah,
you
I think
can.
you.
I'll just give him 0.001 cents every time I go start a new pet upgrade or whatever. You're welcome, Ninja.
God, we're such generous people, aren't we?
I rotate in Ninja to my creator code usage. I normally go Trample or Ninja most every time.
See, I'm not in the habit of entering creator codes because they reset every 2 weeks. I just constantly forget.
Every week, I think, no?
7 days.
Price, yeah. See, I'm definitely not remembering. I mean, obviously it's intentional. They do that so they hope you forget. But
I enter creator codes, but I know it doesn't do anything. Even though I do hope that some guy at Supercell is like, "Ooh, how many codes has this been entered?" But yeah, because I'm free to play. So.
you enter codes and don't buy anything.
Well, yeah,
That's
because
so
I want to.
weird. What?
No, because I want to support them, but it's like I
That's
figure
not
like
supporting them. They
Well-
get literally nothing.
it's better than not entering anything, I suppose.
No, it's not better. It's just equivalent, but you're putting in
Well-
effort to do it.
Well, surely someone at Supercell is like, "Ooh, someone's entering Ninja and not buying anything. That means they're supporting Ninja."
I
So
wonder if they even get that data. It might even only be passed in when you actually use the code when you buy something.
well, there goes all my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, shout out to TK Games. I'll link his channel in there. He's a guy who coached me through a lot better fireball tactics and just like really just stuff that's gonna be applicable outside of fireballs too. I've been really hesitant to use flame flingers in a lot of situations too, just because there's like almost always corner expos or corner mortars and stuff. So it's just always in my head like just don't use flame flingers in those. But I watched him do a lot of replays for me or demonstrate a lot of stuff. And one of the things I noticed that was going on was just like I had to ask him like, dude, you're just cool with your flame flinger dying like that? And he goes, oh yeah, it's as long as it sets the funnel, it's fine. And I've been using that to a lot of success too, just not worrying about protecting my flame flinger as much.
I've always worried about that flame player being hit by mortars, but
Yeah. Any other shout outs before we end it?
nope.
I don't think so.
Awesome. We will see you guys in about 2 weeks, and hopefully we will have some really cool stuff to kick about and talk about. We
Thanks,
will
everyone.
see you guys
That
then.
was clever. Bye.